Far beyond the familiar worlds of Mars and Jupiter lies a planet wrapped in endless darkness, Neptune. A frozen giant drifting on the edge of our solar system, where sunlight arrives as a faint memory after more than 4 hours of travel. Imagine a mission sent into the emptiness, carrying humans into a place no one has ever touched. No rescue waiting behind them. No return path guaranteed. Only silence, distance, and a blue world that grows larger with every passing day. The deeper they go, the more Earth disappears into a single fading point of light. Neptune is not just far away. It is a place where distance itself becomes a weapon, slowly cutting humanity off from everything it has ever known, until only isolation remains. And yet, the real terror begins when science asks a simple question. What happens if we actually try to reach Neptune? Beyond the beauty of its blue atmosphere lies chaos beyond human comprehension. Supersonic winds ripping through clouds faster than any storm on Earth. Pressure so extreme it crushes matter into forms we barely understand. Temperatures that freeze machines before they can react. Even communication with Earth will become a delayed echo, stretching into silence. Every signal weaker than the last. Every message arriving too late. Scientists have only seen this world through distant probes, never through human eyes. And perhaps that is the truth Neptune is hiding. Not just a planet waiting to be explored, but a boundary that was never meant to be crossed. Before we continue deeper into this journey beyond the edge of human exploration, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Because here, we don't just talk about space, we uncover what lies beyond imagination. Turn on notifications, and stay until the end, because what you are about to hear reveals why some destinations in our universe may never welcome us. Neptune is the 8th and most distant planet from the Sun, a world so far away that sunlight is nearly meaningless by the time it arrives. It is a massive ice giant composed mostly of hydrogen, helium, and methane, giving it its deep blue color. But beneath that beauty lies a violent atmosphere. Winds rage at speeds exceeding 2,000 kilometers per hour, faster than any hurricane ever recorded on Earth. These winds tear through clouds in continuous motion, creating a system of storms that never truly ends. There is no calm surface, no solid ground, only endless motion and pressure. A journey to Neptune would take nearly a decade using current spacecraft technology. During that time, astronauts would slowly drift farther from Earth, losing connection not only in distance but in time. Communication delays would stretch into hours, making real-time decisions impossible. Every message sent from Earth would arrive long after situations had changed. The crew would live inside a shrinking world of metal and systems, surrounded by the infinite silence of space. Psychologically, this isolation would grow heavier each day. Humans are built for connection, but Neptune missions would replace connection with permanent separation from home. As the spacecraft approaches Neptune, it enters a region dominated by extreme radiation and a chaotic magnetic field. This magnetosphere is tilted and unstable, trapping charged particles that create invisible storms of energy. These forces can disrupt navigation systems and damage electronics essential for survival. Even the most advanced shielding would struggle to protect sensitive instruments. Gradually, systems begin to fail in unpredictable ways. Data becomes unreliable. Communication weakens. At this stage, even the concept of turning back becomes impossible due to fuel limitations and gravitational influence pulling the spacecraft deeper into Neptune's domain. Neptune has no true surface. Instead, it is composed of thick layers of gas that become denser with depth. Any spacecraft attempting entry will begin a slow, uncontrollable descent into increasing pressure. Temperatures drop rapidly, reaching levels near absolute zero. Mechanical systems begin to freeze and fail. The environment offers no landing point, only continuous descent. There is no ground to stand on, no solid structure to anchor to. Within minutes of atmospheric entry, structural integrity will begin to collapse. Neptune does not allow landing. It only allows disappearance into layers of crushing gas and darkness. One of Neptune's most powerful features is its storm system. The Great Dark Spot, a storm larger than Earth itself, forms and disappears without warning. These storms are driven by internal heat and atmospheric instability. Winds within them rotate at supersonic speeds, capable of destroying any known spacecraft material. If a human mission encountered such a system, survival will be impossible within seconds. Unlike Earth storms, which eventually fade. Neptune storms exist as part of a continuous planetary cycle of destruction, reshaping the atmosphere endlessly without ever reaching stability or calm. Deep within Neptune's atmosphere, scientists believe carbon is compressed into solid diamonds due to extreme pressure. This phenomenon is often described as diamond rain. But this process is not beautiful, it is violent. Carbon atoms are crushed into crystalline structures and pulled downward through layers of dense gas. Any spacecraft in this region would experience complete system failure. Metals warp under pressure, electronics shut down, and heat dissipates instantly. Neptune transforms matter itself into something unrecognizable. It is not a place of creation. It is a place where material is broken down and rebuilt under overwhelming force. Even if a spacecraft managed to descend safely, leaving Neptune would present an entirely different challenge. The planet's gravity, combined with its atmospheric depth, creates a trap with no simple escape trajectory. Fuel requirements for escape far exceed current human capabilities. Once inside Neptune's influence, motion becomes restricted and heavily controlled by gravitational forces. The mission effectively becomes one way. This transforms exploration into entrapment. The spacecraft would not orbit freely. It would slowly drift downward, losing altitude over time until recovery or escape become physically impossible. The psychological effects of such a mission would be devastating. As distance from Earth increases, human perception of time and space begins to change. Earth becomes a memory, then a symbol, then a distant idea. Isolation deepens as communication delays remove any sense of real-time connection. Humans rely on interaction for mental stability, but Neptune missions remove that entirely. The crew would exist in silence, surrounded by instruments and empty space. Over time, this isolation becomes more dangerous than the environment itself, slowly reshaping the human mind under conditions never experienced before in history. Neptune's extreme cold adds another layer of danger. Temperatures can fall below -200 degrees Celsius. At these levels, materials behave unpredictably. Metals contract, lubricants freeze, and electronics lose functionality. Every system designed for survival must constantly fight against freezing conditions. Energy consumption increases dramatically as heat becomes essential for survival. However, in deep space, energy is limited. This creates a constant struggle between maintaining warmth and preserving power. Neptune does not attack violently. It removes energy slowly, turning motion into stillness and systems into frozen silence. Unlike rocky planets, Neptune offers no stable surface or exploration strategy. There is no terrain to map, no land to walk on, and no base to establish. Every attempt to explore leads downward into gas layers with no end. Even robotic probes survive only briefly before being destroyed by pressure and heat loss. Human exploration would shorten this timeline significantly. Neptune challenges the very definition of planetary exploration. It is not a destination for landing. It is a boundary that cannot be crossed safely by physical presence. Neptune is not just a final planet in our solar system. It is a final warning written in the language of physics itself. Every attempt to understand it reveals the same truth. Some worlds are not built for human footsteps. They are built only for observation, for distance, for silence. Neptune exists in that silence, untouched and undefeated, where even light struggles to arrive and survive. As humanity pushes further into space, Neptune stands as a boundary we cannot ignore. Not because we lack curiosity, but because the universe has its own limits written into reality. Gravity, pressure, cold, and distance all combine here into a system that refuses compromise. It does not negotiate. It does not weaken. It simply remains. And perhaps that is the real lesson of Neptune. Exploration is not just about reaching new worlds. It is also about recognizing where we must stop. Not every mystery is meant to be solved by presence. Some are meant to be respected from afar, understood through science, and left untouched by human hands. So when you look up at the night sky, remember this. Beyond that distant blue glow lies a world that will never call us in and never let us out. Neptune is not just a planet. It is the edge of what we are allowed to become. If Neptune taught us anything, it's this: some places in the universe are never meant to be reached. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, subscribe now for more deep space documentaries, because the universe is far more dangerous than it looks.